Welcome to Fresh Talks Global Vision. I love that you're here. I want to hold the space today to really play in your voice. I feel like after being on thyroid medicine for 20 years, when I had that 20-year stint with medicine, I just felt so closed off. For some reason, I wasn't stepping into all my gems. I just kept saying, that medicine's going to take care of you. That medicine's going to take care of you. And I noticed that my voice wasn't open as much as
Mhm.
I'd like it to be. And when I've been off medicine for 10 years now, this is not about medicine, but I want to tell you that to have your voice open and to speak to what you feel is what you're here for or who you are as you're discovering. And if you're doing your morning work where you're bringing in your alignment and really listening to yourself, that's when you really get to speak your voice. And I'm so excited to have Marla Press here. Marla, welcome in.
I'm so excited to be here, Rhonda. Thanks for having me.
Yes, so I'm so happy to have her here because when I started looking at her bio, because Marla and I, we were just in the green room and I got a quick synopsis of who she is. But when I start looking at like what's important to her, a lot of it is to help people get out there and speak and to be noticed. And to be noticed, the same thing what we're talking about here at Fresh Talks Global Vision is how can you open up your voice to where people listen? How can you stand and your leadership? And that really has to do, and I'll have Marla give the definition, of course, too, but a lot of leadership, a lot of believing in yourself. And I think of it as like almost like the first chakra that you're just calm in your space. And you're like, yeah, I got this. I got this. So I want to hear more. And Marla, I want you to just kind of say hello. Tell me how your day has been, how you're starting here, and then I'm going to get into your bio. But my friend, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I live in Colorado at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, and it's just heaven here. I mean, it's gorgeous, and I love the climate. And everywhere I look, there's the beautiful mountains. So, really love it here.
Do you start your morning just breathing that in and like really absorbing that your area and what you're doing? There must be some part of you getting centered in that way, I would think.
Yeah, it really does help. I mean, I love the ocean, but I really connect to the mountains. There's just something about them that are so magical for me.
Oh, I love that. I live on the Fresh Inspiration Ranch. That's what I call it. And somehow I really actually believe it. Like at first I was like, oh, wow, I really, and I started saying that and started putting out there in social media. And when I walk out, I go, yeah, the Fresh Inspiration Ranch. So I love the flowers. I love nature. And I
Yeah.
love that you're around mountains. It must just really serve your purpose. So let me get into this and we'll get into some more stuff, Marla. Thank you for being here today.
Yeah, it's great to be
All
here.
right. So Marla Press, founder of Speakers on Fire Academy. Okay, that was Speakers on Fire Academy and the Superior Speakers Club. You give me that word fire, and I just can't just say fire. I have to say more than that. But she is a public speaking coach, life coach, and art of presence trainer. I like that. She coaches you to wow every room, so you magnetically attract more clients and wealth. I get you, my friend. Marla is the author of No Bull, Create You, The Richer You, and one of the selected authors in the book, Cracking the Rich Code, which is endorsed by Tony Robbins. Oh, I love that. Marla's mission is to help you speak so people listen. In her small group programs and one on one coaching, Marla uses cutting edge speaking techniques. Her psychology degree, stagecraft, and energy work to help you grow your business fast. Marla's unique exercises help beginner and experienced speakers 10 times their impact. Oh, my friend, that sounds wonderful. Whether you want to heat up your talk, ignite your compelling story, make your offer sizzle, fire up your cash flow, or you are ready to be hot off the presses, Marla Press is your coach. Welcome in, Marla Press.
You notice a theme there: fire, ignite, heat up.
I
Yeah,
love it. I
all of
love it,
that.
Miss Sizzly. We both have red on. Give me some information around here. You're very sizzly. You and which I love because now you're giving everybody the like the indicator like hello. Are you like really lowering your standards here? You're sparkly. So tell me about all these fun little words that you're using that are really massively impactful.
Yeah, it's so funny that these days, recently, the younger people are using the word, hey, that's fire. Yeah, that's fire. I'm thinking, oh, I've been using that for like years now. But I love that theme because, it's really important for us as entrepreneurs to be fired up about what we do. And a lot of people, they go to speak and they don't seem fired up. And that's the way to fire up your audience. It really is contagious. And that doesn't mean you have to be super high energy. It doesn't. But you want to be fired up and excited. And you want to have some of that high energy at least. It doesn't have to be all the time, but you want to be at least have some of that energy. And I love, igniting and heating things up. And my given name is Press. So I just got
I
lucky
love
there by
that.
saying I can make you hot off the press because I am
Mrs.
the
Press.
press.
The psychology, the degree that you have. Okay, I love going into mindset because I think that just transforms everything. People start being able to see themselves as you're holding that space for them. So what's the concoction that you do in these small groups, individuals, that they really get to see and hear them? There must be some process or something that you do that you really help them get on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trained at the highest level to teach the art of presence. It started out being the art of feminine presence, but then we included men, and the founder of the program calls it the art of feminine presence and the art of masculine presence. I just call it the art of presence. And it's so much a part of what I do. And it's a combination of energy work,
Mhm.
visualizations, and psychology. And yes, I have a degree in psychology, although I didn't learn much in college, I have to say. Went through 8 years at college. I don't know how much I learned, but I studied a lot of alternative types of psychology, whether it's NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, or energy type work. It's so helpful. And, as a speaker, stuff comes up, right? People are hearing all these voices in their head. Oh, your message isn't important. You're not good enough. You don't look good enough. Don't be too much. Be careful. Oh, you're not funny. I mean, all these messages that we've heard sometimes from childhood, but certainly, even in your adult life, you hear these messages, and people. I do a whole talk about people having these voices on their shoulders, and you can have that voice that tells you all these negative things, or you can have that voice that tells you all these positive things, and you got to choose, right, who you listen to. But it's really important to master your energy and master your presence. And to me, presence isn't mindfulness. A lot of people kind of confuse the two of them. Mindfulness is not thinking about the past and how that is affecting right now, and not thinking about what's happening now and what's going to happen in the future, but thinking about the present moment. And that's a great practice, right? But presence, I think, is a step further. Presence is getting out of your cluttered mind altogether and getting into your full body energy. And that's easier said than done. It's not something you can intellectualize about. It's something you have to experience.
Yeah, I have a question for that,
Yeah.
Marla, because I love everything you're saying. Like, I'm putting my hand to my heart because I want to make sure that I'm like really deeply in this, because everything you're saying, I just love it.
Yeah.
In the brain, I mean, you probably quote so many different quotes. And I always think about this, that we are thinking 60,000 words, that we just subconsciously, could be 70, it could be 10, whatever it is. But like 80% of that is known to be negative if you're not doing this work. But you're talking about NLP, you're talking about all the different angles that you went into. And I believe that we're in this business, I will say mindset, but I really believe if we entertain the mind, that there's something our mind goes, okay, like a puppy dog. Okay, I'll just step over here, let my heart grow and let my presence, like, so I
Yeah.
call it mindset transformation entertainment. Like, we're entertaining things. So when you're talking about that, it's not this like mind space, it really is about essence and about being present and not thinking about things, because we get beat up. We beat ourselves up, especially when we're moving forward. Oh, or especially if we're not moving forward. Oh, it's all the time then. No, I'm only
Right.
kidding, because I mean we love
It
moving
can be.
forward,
It can be.
but it feels
Yeah.
like that, doesn't it, Marla? So when you're working with your groups, because I think we're partnering here and about talking about people opening up their voice and not like to keep moving forward, even when they feel raw, because they know that there's something special if they keep doing that change. So when you find that somebody, I think this will help our audience. When you find that somebody's really stuck and they're like, Marla, I can't work with you. I just can't, because I don't know what it is. I just can't move forward. And you're doing all these great things. They're in their way. How do you help somebody when you hear that no, like they've been working with you for a while, but they're still, you can feel those brakes on them and they're trying to back out. And that's the wonderful thing where you get to do that pivot, that soft pivot. How do you help people when they're in that space and they just don't believe in themselves? They can hear all these good things and you're doing this great stuff, but they're not in their present. How do you get people when you finally actually recognize, there's somebody in my group really is not moving forward? I can feel that. What are the things that you like to talk about or that you do just to help somebody see themselves and the gems of why they're here on earth in this body to be doing this, to be speaking and get out there?
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. There's two things I do, and they're both experiential exercises, because I believe and I know from experience that's what works. What doesn't work is to just talk about it, because then you just rehash it and it doesn't help you let go. So the two things I do, the first one is this presence exercise. So when you get in your presence, you're in your full body, but you're in this what I call home space the most. So I take people into this home space, and it's really in your lower body. And it's, when I'm working just with women, we call it the womb space, because it's really this place of resourcefulness and this place of, birthing everything new. But it's also this home space because it's where you're truly home. And when I tell people, it's not who you are, it's not what you've done, it's not even all the great things you've done, it's the essence of who you are. And again, you can't intellectualize it like, oh, what is my essence? No, you have to feel it. And when you get in this place and you connect to the essence of who you are, magic happens. You become not only a better speaker, but you really let go of a lot of things that are, holding you back. And it's also, this home space is also the collective consciousness that you can connect to. And it just helps you to really connect to people in a different way and have this understanding that is so deep. And when you speak from that place, you let go of all the negative stuff that is holding you back. And the second thing, though, that sometimes we have to take it a step further and energetically let go. So I have this other exercise where people connect to this energy that's all around them. So it's not the whole room, it's what's about arm's length. It's your personal energy. And when you get in this space, you can let go of things that you've entangled with, and disentangle from them and let go of these limiting beliefs energetically. And it really helps you to move forward.
I can feel that. I feel like I'm in a session with you. I'm like, oh, yes. Like everything's just kind of rolling, everything's kind of rolling. I love it. So I do. When we did the introduction of you, I'm going in there deeper about speaking and about, maybe we'll get some tips out there too, because it sounds just fabulous what you do. But the art of presence, I could feel that. I could feel that you just done these things to help people get connected. I love that question that came up then was, like about when somebody's like, I'm out, I can't handle this. And you're like, oh, then you're stuck in this flow up here. But let's get you anchored into that womb space and or male presence essence, depending. Public speaking coach. if somebody's been shut down for a while, and they know, like, they know that they're into it, and they just know that this is where they're supposed to be. What is it that you find that's the hardest thing for somebody to get out and speak when it comes to skill? Like, is it from the flow into speaking it, or is it just, holding that space of presence? But in general, what are you finding when you start working with people? What's the main thing that really holds them back before they really get in their flow and feel like they're a true speaker?
Yeah. So a lot of people want to write a script, memorize the script, and then speak the script. No, 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 no. That doesn't work very well.
That's
So
not fire, Marla. That's not fire.
exactly. It's not connecting. So what I teach people, which is not an easy thing initially, is to balance that entertainment factor, right? The performance factor, the entertainment factor, the higher energy
Yeah.
with the authentic energy and the connecting and building trust.
Yeah.
And they almost seem like opposites, right? And what I find is a lot of people that are even experienced speakers, because I work with some that are experienced. I mentioned that in the bio, that they get out there and they're all in performance mode, and they can be charismatic and interesting, and people will clap at the end of their speech, but they don't connect. They don't build trust. So people still don't want to work with them, even though they think they're a good speaker.
Ooh, I love that point.
Yeah. And then there's the people that are so heart centered and so lovable and so warm. And they go out and they just, they get that connection and you trust them, but they're either kind of boring or they just don't create that urgency to connect. And so they're still not getting the clients and not making the impact they want because they don't really know how to have that combination of the performance, the excitement, the entertainment, and the connection and trust. And so you want to get that balance. And I started to talk about with the scripting.
Yeah.
You might want to start with the script because you have to know exactly what you want to say, but then you have to write bullet points and then practice them and then even let go of that and just have a conversation and just know that you know your material so well that you don't need to look at notes. You just have it flow from you and radiate from you.
Yeah.
But it's a process, right? But too many speakers start out and they're like, I have to memorize my script. And the other thing I tell people is, communication is only 7% the words you say. That's it. 7% out of 100. It's 70% your energy. And that includes your body language, but also, boy, on Zoom or online, it's your facial expressions because they don't see your whole body. It's your hands and your face. On a stage, it's your whole body language, but it's not just that. It's your confidence, it's your passion, and it's this thing we can't really put into words, which is your energy. And I describe it this way because we can all relate to this. It's sort of what we call chemistry, right? Like maybe you met your spouse or your best friend that way, and you meet somebody and you just feel drawn to them. You can't really explain why. They're not necessarily the best looking or saying the perfect things, but there's something about this energy thing, this chemistry, that you just want more of them and you feel attracted to them. And we can't always put that in words, but that as a speaker is what you want to get to, that kind of magnetic energy.
Marla, you brought up something that I think is a wonderful thing to talk about, because we were talking about like dichotomy, like that opposition of like energy and performance and playing. I mean, look at this. I mean, look at you. We're like red and we're like, it is that. But then it's like, well, people can be entertained, but it really is that, okay, so how's the energy showing up? Are you grounded? Those kinds of things. So
Yes.
I was thinking, you said something, and the I know that there was something that was with that. Marla, when people are out there doing their thing. Yeah. Is how do how do you help them stay focused? Like, what's an exercise that you do so that they remember, like, when they're with you, they can feel their essence, they can feel what's happening. But as soon as they get off from the call with you in the group or single, like, you're guiding them. And, like, I don't know if you say spiritual, but I mean, everything you're speaking could be, whatever it is, but it's a very connected space. And not everybody knows how to stay there. So, I want to know what kind of exercises you do, and if you want to take us through a little bit of experiential space. I think I want to go there because I think that's the space where people get confused. It's like, because you'll hear somebody so much in control, and they're like, "Oh, what? How do you do this? How do you do that?" And then they'll just be like asking these questions. But when they're with you, you take them there, you get them there. And it's still kind of like a learning thing for them. Maybe they've been speaking for a while, but they've been doing it in a very masculine way. I want to remember, I want to make sure I'm doing all this. But you're really saying, hey, let's get out of the head. Okay, you can have a script, but then let's walk away from that. Let's make sure that you're in that space. So what are some of the exercises, like when they're away from you, that they remember that there's something so different than maybe when they first come in as a client, to really understanding how to connect with their essence? How do you keep them there so that they can move forward?
Yeah. So it's sort of like, as a speaker, just think of yourself as an athlete. You have to condition yourself. So you have to practice these things. And, it's funny because I do this exercise. And if you want, usually I take 10 or so minutes with it. I can maybe do the 5 or 6 minute version of it with you.
Do you
But
want to do you want to do that? Do you want to do like a little experience so people kind of feel your flow
sure.
and what it is to be working with you and
Yeah,
doing
we
stuff?
could do that. Yeah. So you want to practice it. And, some people don't don't allow themselves to get in their body because we got memories in there, we got feelings in there, we got stuck energy in there. So for some people, they don't get it right away. Other people immediately get it. So it just depends on the person.
Yeah.
But either way, usually you do want to practice it. And then after a while, you can just sort of close your eyes and in 5 seconds, you're there. But initially, depending on the person, like I said, it could take a while to really get in there. But if you want, we could demo that.
Because I think, because you have said so many wonderful things, like, I get it. And I know our audience will too, because we are consistently having these types of conversations. But I love what you're saying, Marla. I would love to have that experience with you, and I'll make sure that we really get this part out, because the experiential, it really helps people understand the difference of maybe working with somebody else to working with you. And not that you're competing with anybody else, you're just there to help the person that is asking you to work with them. So take us through an experience. I think it'll be really incredible.
Okay, sure. So everybody can do this together, but what I'm going to do to make it really real so people see a change. And, Rhonda, you're a great speaker. You are very heart centered and you're also grounded. But let's see if we can take it up a notch. So, what I usually do to demonstrate this is I'm going to have you tell us what you do in, if you were going to, if you were going to, meet somebody, you could say at a networking group and you had, 45 seconds or so to say what you do, then everyone's going to go through the exercise together.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll speak again and we'll see if it changed anything.
Okay. So I get to be on stage right now?
Yeah.
Marla, this is fun. Okay. I believe that I am speaking to what I do. I believe that I'm here to open up voices. I know that a lot of us are shut down, and I started a movement called hashtag Speaker Locking Arms. Everything I do is helping people open up their voice. My humanitarian project is that I believe we need to talk about the human experience here in this world. And I bring people together to learn how to open up their voice, how to learn and discover how to energize themselves so that they really show up as their true essence, so we can really get out there and make a change for this whole world, because there's so much scaredness going on. It's really time to be in action and support each other. Hashtag speaker locking arms. Let's lock arms and let's support each other. That's what I do. I help support through my movement with the Fresh Talks Global Vision and all the other experiences I have in life. And I work with speakers also to open up the voice.
Wow. So I knew that would be fabulous to begin with, but we'll see. For most people, they're not quite as fabulous the first try. But yeah, that was really heart-centered and really great. Well, let's see if we can even, change it just a little bit. And I encourage everyone listening, unless you're driving, to do this exercise with us and just allow yourself. I use that word allow a lot. Allow yourself to get into it as much as you can. So go ahead and close your eyes and just take a nice deep breath there. And allow yourself to sink a little further into your chair. Let your shoulders drop. Let your face relax. Yeah. And pay attention to your feet. Just really notice. They should be about shoulder width apart. What are they touching? Is it carpet? Is it hardwood floor or a rug? Just really bring your attention to your feet. And yes, and then imagine that you have roots that come up from Mother Earth. They're about 15 feet deep down into Mother Earth, and all of that energy and roots is coming up into your feet. Some people picture plant roots. Other people just sense the energy coming up. Other people see sparkles or colors. Whatever it is perfect for you. And allow that energy to come up through your ankles and up through your lower legs and up into your upper legs. And allow that energy and all your attention to come into your lower belly, a couple inches below your navel, and a little to the back of your body. Just let it sink in there. This is your home space. And some people might picture a bowl of honey just rocking back and forth and back and forth. And just feel the pleasure of that movement, the movement of your energy within your home space. And your home space is the essence of who you are. It is not what you do, even all the good things. It's not how you identify. It's the essence of who you are. And it's where you connect to your collective consciousness in the whole world. And it's where all your resourcefulness is. And just allow that energy to move freely within your home space. And then allow that energy to move up into your heart space. And your heart space is not your physical heart. It is your place of self-acceptance and self-love, and of love and acceptance for others. And imagine your heart is a window, and just allow it to open a little bit more and open a little bit more. And feel what that feels like to have an open heart. And then allow that energy to move back and forth freely between your home space and your heart space. It's just moving freely within you, and feel the pleasure of that. And in a moment, you're going to open your eyes, but you're going to keep your energy in this place, your home space and your heart space. And you're going to speak to us from this place. So go ahead and open your eyes. And from this place, what is the message that you have to tell us?
We've been shut down, all of us, too long. And this is our time. We do see there's so much going on in this world, and we get a choice every day of how we step into it. I'm here to be able to help people open up their voice. I started a movement, hashtag speaker locking arms. It means something to me so much that everything I touch, it's about how can we get in alignment? How can we speak our truth? And I do that by allowing people to speak and as speakers being able to get out there. So I help people launch their podcast, align their podcast with income. It's part of the energy of helping that movement. And I want people to speak their truth because that's where we're shut down. And that's where we have a lot of illness. It's time to make a change for ourselves within ourselves so we can transform from inside out and help others.
Beautiful. Everybody's clapping for you. Hear the clapping. But the
Marla's such a difference.
That was, like I said, the first time was beautiful. But this time it was even, it felt even less about you and what you do and more about the world and what you want in the world. It felt more emotional, more authentic, more connecting. How did that feel for you?
Good, fabulous, sexy, fun, fire.
Yeah.
On point.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So when you watch the replay, you'll see that there really was a significant difference in your energy.
And I love that you said the first one because I was speaking about me and why I'm here. The last one was like just feeling out like what is here for everybody to be able to choose. And this can help our audience and being for them to be able to notice when you like even as a speaker, like when you're speaking at somebody to really actually being present and being just as if you're sitting in the chair just sitting with everybody. So I like that exercise to help people, and you don't even have to be a speaker to get that information. It can be so many ways of how we show up in the day of not just thinking about me and in that small space, but really stepping outside of that so that we can make the day as incredible as we can. Marla, these days go by so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it really, you started with what is the bigger problem in the world? We're all disconnected. We're all, feeling isolated. And, you started with the emotional thing that's so important to all of us these days and how people feel stuck instead of, starting with what you do. And that makes all the difference in people wanting to lean in and hear what you have to say. So when I say I help people speak so people listen, a lot of speakers are not really being heard. Yeah. And that's big part of it's partly because of their energy. It's partly because of their content. It's partly because of their confidence. But that's part of their energy.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Let's finish this off in a real strong way. Share a story or something about yourself or what in your journey or what you've been seeing with maybe a case study you're working on or somebody that's in your group or has been in your group in the transformation. Like, where does this take people? And not just as a speaker, but I mean, this all tethers together. So what's some of the changes that you see that you've been able to be part of?
Yeah.
Process.
So I can talk about my own story, which is absolutely the story of a lot of my clients. And it's not the exact same story necessarily, but it's very similar. And that is that a lot of people have experienced some trauma in their life. And, for me, I experienced it in childhood. And so I had this wall up and I didn't even realize it. I knew I wasn't always great in group settings. I was good one-on-one, but I wasn't always great in group settings. And I had this wall up, and I grew up in musical theater. So I was always a great performer. No problems there. I could be on any stage and be so comfortable because I was in a dance company. I was in theater all the time. But when I went to become a speaker and had to sell myself as a consultant,
Yeah.
I was too much in performance mode and not enough in that building trust, connecting to people, and having my heart open. And that made all the difference, not only in me being a better speaker, me getting more clients, but in my personal life too, just being more open and being so aware of the difference between even having a window up or a little bit of a curtain versus this solid wall versus being open and being present instead of being in this, cluttered mind space and having that closed heart. So it makes a huge difference as a speaker and as a human being.
Wow. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Where are we sending people today? And I'll make sure that we have your links also in our information. Where would you
Yes.
like to have people learn more about this fabulous stuff you're talking about today?
Yeah. Well, one thing I offer is it's such a great deal. It's a hot or not speaker eval where you can bring any part of your message. It could be your storytelling piece. It could be the beginning or ending. It could be the whole talk. It could be your offer, anything that you want to bring. And we will make it sizzling hot. You'll find out what's not so hot, what could use a little more spark. And so I offer that as complimentary. I love doing that. I love, if you have this 1 minute talk, it's not just an elevator pitch. It really is critical for going to networking groups or even being in a grocery store and meeting somebody in a line that's long and you just strike up this conversation. But it's, as a speaker, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you want to be networking. Yes, you want to be on other stages too and really put your message out to a lot of people. But if you're first starting or if you're just trying to get more clients quicker, networking is so important. And so to have this in place is huge. And, if you don't have a message yet, we can still work on creating a message for you. If you're just thinking, I don't know if I'm a speaker, I don't know if I want to do this, we can help with that too. And just, think about, well, what would be your message? So it's a great opportunity. You just go to speakwithmarla.com. Super easy, and you can set up a session, and it's really a lot of fun and so valuable.
Marla, thanks for your time. You did incredible. The experience with you has been very rich and full. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you. I had my hand to my heart so many times. I could just
Oh,
feel this
yes.
exploring, like all these things that are just, you're fabulous, my friend.
Thank you so much. And so are you. I've just loved this time together. Thank you for participating and volunteering to do this exercise.
It
That
felt
was
so
great.
vulnerable, Marla. It felt so vulnerable because of, like when I get to do something where somebody actually is saying, "Hey, take a step back and do this." It's like, oh, but it felt really good. I love being able to do stuff where it's just like spontaneous. So I really appreciate that. Thanks for bringing in that
Yeah,
experience. I love
absolutely.
that. Thank you, Marla. So, Fresh Talks Global Vision, we are here. Hashtag speaker locking arms. Let's keep locking arms together. Let's do that so that we can create this energy around us for making that choice. Are we going to be living in life where we can see all the stuff that's not working? It's good to know what's happening there. And then, if we just tap into some of the good stuff, but there's another way to be living. take that other path where you can really see the good stuff. You're starting your day with gratitude and you're doing steps what Marla has to offer. It sounds so incredible. It's going to help you open up and you're on that path, and make sure you start it before you get into everything so that you can be here. And you know, this stuff, it'll always be here. It'll come and nip you back and forth to the stuff that's not working. But that is where you start getting into alignment because you have the energy to be able to deal with the stuff on this road. This is actually reality. It's related with abundance. I want you to go out there and really get to know our speakers, get to know how you can lock arms with other people. And if you're in business, I want you to be out there speaking, creating business, being connected with your income flow. All of this is related. I appreciate everyone in our community and the new people coming in. I love and appreciate you. Namaste. You have a wonderful day. Thank you, Marla Press.
Thank you.
Have an insightful day, everyone. Love you.